Welcome to Brobench. In this video, we're going to go through Schema Lister module in Brobench. Brobench has one of the best way to visualize or see the details of a particular object. So you can go to the Objects module, you can click on an object, and then it shows all the details, right? Including parent fields, child fields, Picklist Values, and all that. However, if you want to see the details for multiple objects at a time, for example, for the half-line analysis or to data dictionary building, so on and so forth, it's not feasible to go to individual object and export the details. Okay, so that is where the Schema Lister is very helpful. Okay, to access the Schema Lister, you can go to the Brobench menu, app menu, click on modules, and click on the Schema Lister. So Schema Lister, when you come there for the first time, it's going to prompt you to specify list of object whose details that we need to describe and list. So there are first you can select what is that we wanna list. So there's a lot of capabilities, a lot of details that the Brobench can list about the objects. You can select objects, object access, the field and the field access, Picklist Values, parent fields, child fields, and other things. Let's go and select the standard ones, objects, fields, and Picklist Values, and the other child fields. So we have a threads because when you describe the schema request, so when you list the schema, it's going to fetch the details of all the objects that you have selected. So if it's just a few objects, it's fine, but you can select, let's say if you're listing details for 1,000 objects, so if you have to fetch the details one by one in a sequence, it's going to take time. So that's where threads can help to speed up. So that it's going to help you to fetch 5 objects at a time, for example. You can specify more if it is appropriate for your org. You can select what kind of objects to list. For example, in this case, the first level of filtering is that, so you can say, list only standard, custom data objects, and the package data objects. We don't care about, the custom metadata, the listings, platform events, so on and so forth. But if you want to include them, you can go and select them. And then you can specify which objects you want to list based on the API name matching. You can list an individual object if you want to, or you can just specify, the wildcards. For example, the star will match all the objects in this particular category. Or if you want to, list only the partial matches. For example, let's say I want to do everything that starts with a work star, so like a work harder line item, so on and so forth, and you can combine them. For example, let's say I want to do star, account, star, so you can specify whatever that you need. So for the testing, let's say I just gonna specify account and then contact. And then you have a max object. So this is kind of a safeguarding mechanism. For example, let's say if you go and specify some wrong, the wildcard, that's going to match a lot of objects. So this puts a limit. So once you specify that, so we're going to list out how many objects it has matched based on the current org on the wildcard matching. And if it is more than the maximum specified objects, this will error out. So think of like, hey, what's the maximum number of objects you think this should match based on your estimation. Okay, so the first level is that what is that we want to do, and what objects, which objects detail that we want to list. And then third level is that fields. So you can filter which fields that you want to list. Most of the time I would just list all the fields in an object, but if you're dealing with a lot of objects, the output can be really huge. In that case, you can filter and say, hey, list only formula fields, for example, if that is what you're interested, or date and time fields, or relationship, the lookup fields, or master detail, whatever that you're looking for. So you can specify those things. So you specify the field category. For example, you can say, hey, don't include system fields, that will reduce or something. And then field types, you can filter by the field types, or you can also enter the field API names. So this supports the wildcards. So you can specify multiple values with the wildcards. So once you specify all of these details and you click on list schema, so this will go about start fetching the details for the list of objects that it matched. So it opens multiple tabs like that based on what you had selected. In this case, we had selected objects, the fields, Picklist Values, parent fields, and child fields, and it exported those details. For each of them, it exports actually quite a bit of information, so that it can get overwhelming at times. So you just focus on what is that you're looking for and ignore the rest of the stuff. Similarly, the fields, it shows all the different fields that you have. Okay, so you can have Picklist Values. It shows all the Picklist values here, the parent fields and the child fields as well, because that's what we have selected. So once you list it, you can search here if you want to just looking for it. You can search and all that. You can right click and export all of this information to CSV, Excel, or a Google Sheet. So once you export it, you can go back and list more additional details. So now going back to the request, let's see what else that we have allowed to list. We can list object access, the field access, record types, the flow triggers, flexi pages, the page layouts, apex triggers, validation rules, and limits of objects. Okay. So Brobench is keep adding more details that we can list as part of this. So please check out the documentation to see what else that you can list out. So keep in mind the essential edition allows you to list objects, the fields, Picklist Values, parent field, child fields, and the record types. But in the professional edition, you can list every other details that is listed here. Okay, so I hope you guys like this feature and adds value to your business process. Thank you.